Do you want to know how to make a container garden in 8 easy steps? I just finished my container garden and I want to share the results with you. Welcome to Just One More Story Farm, and this is our new container garden. I'll give you a quick tour and then I will tell you the 8 steps and go through each of those with you so that you can make your own container garden at home and grow lots of delicious food right outside your house. When I step out on my back porch, I see this beautiful container garden. Having all of this food growing right here on my back porch allows me to harvest fruits and vegetables right off of my kitchen. In this window box, I planted seeds for various herbs. In this whiskey barrel planter, I have assorted lettuce, kale, as well as some beautiful flowers. I also have some impatient flowers planted. I like to have pops of color in flowers around my garden. Down here, I have a Mayer lemon tree growing alongside a palette that I found, painted it white, and I'm currently growing baby doll watermelon plants. I have 2 baby doll watermelon plants that I'm going to train to trellis all the way up this palette. I have chicken wire stapled to the back of the palette in order for the watermelon plant tendrils to grab on to help them climb, along with some impatiens planted in the middle for a pop of color. Alongside the palette, I have some potted plants and more flowers. I eat a lot of salads, so I have growing summer bib lettuce, gourmet bib lettuce, gourmet blend lettuce. Down here I have baby spinach, gourmet bib lettuce, kale curls, as well as some more gourmet bib lettuce over here with some dwarf kale and a little bit of assorted lettuce here as well. I've got a couple big containers that I just planted rainbow carrot seeds. And this shelf here, I painted it white, and the planters, I have flowers, and I just transplanted some strawberry plants because my strawberry plants in the raised bed were crowded. They look like they have a bit of transplant shock currently, but I'm hoping that they'll come around. And then right up against the house, I am using my indoor greenhouse that I started all my seeds this winter, and I'm now using it as a shelf for my container garden plants. I just planted all these seeds. These are green arrow peas, dinosaur kale, custom blend radishes, and white icicle radishes. And lastly, we have beets. 2 different types of beets. Green top bunching and tall top early wonders. Hopefully now you're inspired to start your own container garden. Here are the 8 steps you need to take to make your container garden. Step 1, you need to gather your supplies. So your supplies are going to depend on what you want to put in your garden, but the basic supplies are going to be that you need some pots, you need soil, you need fertilizer, you need some sort of shelving to put your pots on if you're planning on doing different levels. You need a trellis system if you're going to be doing vining plants or vegetables that do tend to climb for some vertical gardening space. And of course, you're going to need started plants or seeds or both. Step 2, you need to design your space. Envision what you want for your space, how you want to do it, and set it up. I changed my mind a bunch of times and moved things around. That's the beauty of container gardening, is you can just move things around and change your mind and put things in different places. part of your planning is going to be putting seeds or plants in the best possible location, whether they like partial shade or if they want full sun. You can place them on the parts of your chosen area that is best for that plant, and if it's not doing well in that area, you can move it to a either more sunnier location or more shady location depending on the problem. Step 3, fill your containers up with soil. When you're filling up your pots, make sure that your pots have drainage holes on the bottom of them. These 2 teal pots that I got at the dollar store, they didn't have drainage holes. So that's something that you have to check first, and do put in some drainage holes in the bottom just to allow the water to come out the bottom, because if not, your plants can get waterlogged and you'll see them floating in water, and that's just not healthy for them, and unfortunately they can die. When you're placing soil in your pot, you want to choose a potting soil that is made for container gardening, so that way you're getting a product that is balanced and supportive of plants growing in containers. You don't want to use soil from your backyard or garden soil. It just doesn't have the nutrients that a container garden plant would need. You want to fill that soil up in the pots, but do leave at least an inch at the top, just so you have room to water those plants without the soil spilling over the edges. Step 4, plant your plants. If you are planting starts, then you're going to want to get those planted in the soil. Plant them in so that the potted plant soil is level with the soil inside of your pot, and pack that down nicely so that you don't have any air pockets underneath your plant. Step 5, add water. So your plants that you just planted, you're going to want to water them. You're also going to want to water the pots that just have the soil in them that you're going to be planting your seeds in. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to add the water first and then place seeds in, so that way you're not displacing the seeds when you water from the top. Step 6, add your seeds. So the pots that you're planning on starting seeds in, you'll want to plant your seeds based off of the directions on the back of the seed packets. Most seed packets will tell you how deep to plant them and how close together they can be planted. A lot of them, if they are good for planting in pots, quite a few of the seed packets will tell you the size pot that you'll need for that plant. Step 6, fertilize your plants. So you'll want to sprinkle a little fertilizer on each of your plants and mix that into your soil a little bit, and then just gently mix that into the soil around the plant, so that way you know that your plant is going to be getting the extra nutrients that it'll need, because the roots, there's nowhere for them to go searching for those extra nutrients in a container. They need you to supply those nutrients to them. Certain types of fertilizers, like the Miracle-Gro organic fertilizer that I use, it does need water to activate it. So after I mix it in, I do add a little bit of water to the pot just to make sure that fertilizer gets activated in there. The pot should already be pretty moist from watering it in step 5, but I do like to add a little bit more after I put that fertilizer in. When watering your potted plants, you want to make sure that they're getting enough water. So I like to water them until I see water start to drain from the bottom of the pot, and that way I know that the soil is completely saturated with water, and then I leave that until the soil tells me that it needs more water. So I stick my finger in and check to see how moist the soil is to know whether it's dry and needs more water, where I saturate it until it's dripping out of the holes, or if it's moist, then I leave it be. And that's it. That's the 8 steps to making a beautiful container garden. You can get really creative with it and try different do-it-yourself projects and see if you can find things to repurpose to use. And it's a really fun project. Also, it can be as expensive as you want it to be, or you can do it on a budget. There's definitely a broad range depending on what you're planting and what you're planting it in. So like I said, these I got at the dollar store, as well as the tin flower pots for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. A lot of the pots that I use, I either had left over from fruit trees that I planted from the nursery, or plants that I've previously purchased from a nursery and saved those pots. I've also gotten lots of pots from friends, family, and Craigslist free ads. So I do have a large collection of pots, because anytime I see them available, it's something I grab, because pots crack and it's nice to have backups as well as a lot of different options. So if I change my mind and I want to change things or add things, I have that option too. Now, don't discount the Dollar Tree for gardening supplies other than pots, because all of these little white labels are from the Dollar Tree. They also sell small plastic trellises, garden gloves. I got my lemon garden gloves from the Dollar Tree as well, which is what I was wearing when I was doing this container garden. And also Dollar Tree has these little clips to clip your plants to a trellis system, and that can help to train them and keep them in place. So they have a whole package of those for $1.25. So definitely check out your Dollar Tree if you're looking for small gardening items like that. I find it more cost effective to start plants from seeds. Seeds are less expensive than buying started plants. So that's one way you could save money, is by starting from seed. I definitely have a mixture of plants that were purchased from stores and farms, as well as seed packets that I've planted seeds in my pots. But like I said, a lot of the containers that I have were free. The pallet was free. The shelf I got for free. One of the window boxes I got for free on the side of the road, but the larger ones I did purchase at Home Depot, because I just couldn't find what I was looking for free. And I had this vision of what I wanted, so I did purchase those. The whiskey barrels, I purchased those many years ago, and they have held up and they have grown lots of plants in there for me. So those were a good investment. Oh, and this plant stand here, as well as this plant stand, I got from my mom and dad. So thanks, Mom and Dad. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to help with any questions you have about container gardening or farming. I would say my 3 largest costs with this container garden would be the 4 bags of soil that I purchased from BJ's, the larger window boxes that I purchased from Home Depot, as well as the started plants. Everything else was either free or from the Dollar Tree, or relatively inexpensive. If you know of any ways to save money on container garden, definitely share them in the comments below, because that helps everybody else out in the community, and to share our tips and tricks so we can all be better farmers. If you're wondering why I have nothing planted in this back corner, it's because my dog Sven sleeps in that back corner, and anything I've ever put anywhere near that back corner, he's knocked the pot over accidentally, because he's just such a big dog. So I am just leaving that whole corner open for him, and keeping this lemon plant close to the pallet so he has plenty of room. And if you haven't started your farm yet, what are you waiting for? Get your farm on.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to farm? A wicked awesome farm. Watch this channel to learn what to do. We love to farm and we'll show you.